Hello, hello. Now, the United States is a black supremacist nation as of today in 2023. It is now unsafe for a white man to go to the United States. I don't recommend you travel there. It is an unsafe nation to go to. I also suggest that if you know any Americans, you let them know that their country is a disgrace. It is a disgusting country. I personally don't see any reason why they should be the superpower anymore. They have lost all morals. It is a disgraceful, racist, full of hate crime, disgusting country, the United States. Not to mention the wars that they've been promoting all across the world. Their elites are just absolutely disgusting. And as an Australian, I don't want anything to do with these despicable people. Now, what I want to show you guys is the hate crimes out there. And so if you have a look at this white boy was in the mall, and about 20 black teenagers decided to try to kill him. I'm not even joking. Watch it for yourself. This is the news. This is KTLA 5. The news doesn't report on it. Man rescues boy from violent brawl at Torrance Mall. They don't talk about the hate crime because the United States is a black supremacist, fascist, disgusting country now. And all Australians, I want you to be mindful of this. Clearly a white boy running for his life. Everybody is black.
Maurice Hardy is talking about...
They drag him to the ground. Everyone here is black. Black kid drags him to the ground.
His
2,
decision
3, 4,
to jump
5, 6, kicking him,
into
kicking him, 7, 8, 9,
action.
10, 11,
When
12. This one's pulling out a knife or a gun.
he saw
13, 14, 15, 16.
a large group of kids chasing a boy.
And they just keep coming in. Now, this is a hate crime. You have a look at everybody around. This is a whole bunch of African Americans attacking a white boy because of the color of his skin.
Maurice Hardy is talking about...
Now, this hate crime, the media doesn't talk about the poor white kid that was traumatized. He could be in hospital right now. They don't care about the kid. They don't care about you if you're a white man. They don't care about you. They'll take the white pussy, though. They'll take the white pussy because they got use for that. But instead of reporting on it as the hate crime that it is, the media goes, man rescues boy. So what happens towards the end there was one guy steps in. I think it might be here.
Now at 5:30,
so you can see this guy in the blue shirt.
A good Samaritan
pushes them off.
Pulls a teenager to safety after he got caught up in a massive violent brawl. Today,
you can see he jumps in
he's
there.
being called a hero.
So everyone here is black. Not one of these people thought it was wrong to have 20 people trying to kill one person. They all saw that as justified. This is America today. And the media doesn't say anything about it. Because America is the hate crime center of the world against white people. There is a political shift that happened during COVID where black supremacists have taken over not only the media, clearly, but these black supremacists are pushing for mass hate crimes. Oh, sorry, this makes me sick. Across the United States. And this young boy's life doesn't mean nothing over there. His forefathers could have fought and died for that country, built it into the country that it is today. Yet, the black supremacists want him dead. Okay, you have to be cognizant of this, that they actually hate you because of the color of your skin. And to make things worse, the media will not report on it. The media actually doubles down, and instead of the poor boy that they tried to kill, the one person that steps in is now labeled a hero. He's the hero, and so all the spoils go to this man for doing what every man with one little fraction of honor should do. This is not something that a hero does. It's something that every man should do. Stop someone getting murdered in the street from a hate crime. Step in. Do your best to do something about it. But it is so rare for a black person to do anything for a white person in the United States that they have to put them on a pedestal just to try and promote this. But the Americans don't know what I can clearly see because I'm outside of the United States. Most of us outside of the United States can see things that Americans can't see because they're too close to it. This is a black supremacist mass movement of probably 30 million African American black Americans that are fascist. They're working together to overthrow the country through extreme violence. This child, this white boy, would be traumatized for the rest of his life. Now, if that white boy had have pulled out a gun or something and defended himself, the entire narrative would have been flipped to, oh yeah, white shooter again, even though the statistics don't weigh it up. White men are one of the least likely to commit any sort of violent crime in the United States. Did you know that? Black men commit 50% of all crime in the United States. Now, this wouldn't matter and hasn't mattered my entire life. But now, Australia has, or the new black supremacist movement in the United States has decided to send an unlimited colony of black African Americans to my country to subjugate me in the same violent ways that is happening right here. If you are not aware of what is happening in Australia, you should be scared for your life because they're coming for you. And this is serious. The media didn't even report on this hate crime. And if you have a look at, this is Dana White's Instagram. Now bear with me. Dana White is the CEO of the UFC. Now, he's a billionaire. He makes a lot of money by promoting fights like this. You know, he's the guy that made Conor McGregor. So what he did was he posted this here. This happened in Torrance. I can't click on it because I'm not signed in or anything. But I had a look at what the post was, and Dana said in the post, Dana White, that he wants to reward this guy with, he wants to train him and teach him how to fight. And he will pay him a lot of money to do his first fight in the UFC. Totally ignoring the hate crime, totally ignoring the victim that was almost killed. If the United States was a fair and free and open society, they would look at the victim. This teenage boy that went head to head with 20 black supremacists that tried to kill him in a mall in broad daylight. Dana would reach out to that boy and teach him how to defend himself. But Dana will not. He's too close to black supremacists. This country is run by black supremacists. Extreme, racist, despicable people who want to kill you because of the color of your skin. And Dana's too close to it. he can't see the benefit in helping the young boy to defend himself and get some confidence out there. He's probably fearful to go outside right now. He's now aware that society hates him because the media didn't even mention the boy. The media isn't defending the boy. It seems like the media doesn't care about him because they don't. They hate him. They hate him because of the color of his skin, because he's a white boy. The United States is an extreme black supremacist, despicable country that's been captured by them. It's been captured by other minority groups as well. But a lot of people that say that the United States still cares about white people, this is Fox. Fox 11, you can see it up here. Fox News, Fox Local. You would think that they would at least realize that this was a hate crime and call it out. A man is being held a hero for pulling a teen to safety. A violent mob. That's not a black supremacist mob. Racist black teenagers that have been told in the media that they need reparations and they should hate white people. They don't even care about that. All they care about is the black people. So the United States, here we go. We might have he meets the victim. Looks like he might actually meet the victim here. For some reason I can't get this video to play. Now let's have a look. Don't worry, maybe you guys can find it. Who cares? If you want to see it, whatever. Maurice Hardy. He's a hero. Man rescues boy. Man saves teen. Brawl among teens. Oh, look. Brawl among teens. Not hate crime committed against young white.
I think anybody would have did the same thing in the situation.
Maurice Hardy is too humble to admit he's a hero.
What's going on, Fox? Your website sucks.
But his actions speak louder than words.
See the boy.
In the cell phone,
Kicking the leg, kicking everywhere he could.
He was bleeding from his nose. You see his eyes was watery.
He's bleeding from his nose.
Looked like he didn't want to be there no more.
in a split second, Maurice decided he would step in to save that teenager, even if it meant when suddenly a large brawl broke out.
There was a lot of people jumping other people, and me and my brother saw that they were jumping, so we were gonna get out of there, and then they came up to my brother and they hit him.
They socked me like right here in my jaw right here, and like on my head.
Yeah, you notice none of the victims are black teenage boys. You notice that? Because it was racially motivated. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, that the United States has fallen. It is a black supremacist nation. And to end this video, I want to tell you the lessons that I've learnt from seeing the slow evolution into a slow demise and the collapse of the United States. You see, if you know your history well, Genghis Khan ran a horde of Mongols through Europe, and they rode the basic military strategy 500 years ago was to ride on horseback with bow and arrows and ride right up to the infantry that was standing there with their swords and their shields and their weapons, right up alongside and then shoot and then run away and then run back in and shoot and run away. This was how the Mongol horde took over Europe. Now, this went against the war strategy and the honor system that they had in Europe at the time. I'm not. This is a bit of a history lesson. Bear with me. It's very relevant to this. This was cheating, according to the Europeans. You had to line up your men, and they had to line their men up, and both sets of men needed to go head to head. There were certain rules about warfare 500 years ago in Europe, believe it or not, the same way there are rules in warfare today. But the Mongol horde, Genghis Khan, they broke all of those rules. They exploited every possible chink in the armor of the Europeans, and they took over Europe. Now, what we just witnessed, and what I have witnessed all over the internet since I've become aware of the flooding of African Americans and Africans to Australia over the last couple of years, because I'd like to know how dangerous my country's going to get, it's going to turn into that. And here's why. It's because they don't have an honor system. There's no such thing as honor with the African Americans. 20 on 1, they're raised by women over there. There's lots of single mothers. Men will teach you that you should just only fight 1-on-1 and have some sort of an honor system. They don't. They'll do 20 on 1. They'll knife you. They'll shoot you from a distance. There's no such thing as right or wrong. It is executing their enemy as fast as possible, and they're willing to lie, cheat, and steal and do whatever they can to achieve that end. If we think that moving forward we can have some sort of an honor in Australia, and we are going to play by the rules and just hope that they're just going to eventually come around, we're lying to ourselves. Because what I'm seeing consistently in the United States is black supremacists committing crimes, hate crimes. Not only that, getting trolleys and going into Walmart and filling their trolleys full of stolen goods and leaving en masse. Then, when the police turn up, calling the police racist for trying to stop them committing crimes, it has nothing to do with racism or any of that. What it is this is a black supremacist, racially motivated, fascist group of African Americans that are teaming together to dominate the country from within. And I think there's only 15%. There's only about 35 million African Americans in the United States. I think there's about 350 million Americans, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. Now, that small amount of African Americans have used extreme violence to get their way. And the evidence is clear. It's working. It's a very effective strategy. 20 on 1. What you do is you see one white boy by himself, and you got like 5 of you guys for absolutely no reason other than committing a hate crime, attack that white guy. They're getting one person at a time when they outnumber them. And it's kind of the same as the cheating strategies that the Mongol horde used, Genghis Khan used when he went into Europe. Now, you have to understand that if that's their strategy, then there's a race to the bottom. There's a race, an arms race to the bottom on how to combat that. And if the Americans don't at least start reporting on it in the media, which they're not, and the white Americans are not going to push back and create their own groups, then the African Americans are going to continue to dominate all aspects of American society, and ultimately the United States will collapse. This is inevitable. You cannot have a global superpower descend into this type of outrageous degeneracy, and with the single mothers everywhere and extreme violence in the streets without any rule of law, and expect them to survive as a country. So as an Australian, we need to be mindful that our new batch of immigrants are going to start behaving like that soon. And if you're a young Australian man, I recommend you speak to your friends and you say, it's time to start watching our backs. Because Australia will descend into the same amount of violence as this in a shorter period of time, because we don't have 350 million people. We got 26 million people. And there's only a few million real Australians like myself left. So all you need is 1-2 million African Americans, and you get 1 million in, and they bang all of the white girls and they start pumping out the next generation. There's going to be 2 million of them within 10-15 years. And then you're going to see hate crimes like this on George Street, Sydney, in the centre of Melbourne, and in the centre of Brisbane City. And whenever you walk down a dark alleyway and there's a few black guys standing there, they're going to attack you based on the colour of your skin within your own country, even though their parents were offered a free and an easy life here. It's kind of disgraceful when you see all of the benefits that the African Americans have received. From the outside looking in, it's absolutely disgusting. I came from the ghetto. I'm disabled. Both my hips have been replaced. I came from the bottom of society. You don't see me out there doing this. But on top of that, I also came from the ghetto. You can search it up, Russell Crowe's documentary on the Bra Boys. You can search it up, search it in Google. And on top of that, I became disabled before I even turned 30. And then you know, on top of that, I have to suffer from diversity targets and all of the immigrants getting all of the first shot at all the jobs. Institutionalized racism has plagued me my entire life. Not only institutionalized racism, the feminists are taking jobs they don't deserve. Institutionalized sexism, I've suffered from that as well. I'm not receiving money for being disabled. I should be, but I didn't. I had to wash dishes and battle my way out of nothing. So I was washing dishes. I was sleeping on the couch while undergoing major surgeries to sew my legs back together so I could walk again. And no one helped me out. No one. And all I see from the outside looking in, because I'm all the way over here, I see this happening in the United States all the time. And it's frankly, from someone from my position, someone that has battled my entire life just to keep a roof over my head and had to continuously think of innovative new ways to try and survive. I've been to the depths of hell, but I don't act and bitch and moan like the African Americans do. Australia is nowhere near as wealthy as the United States. If you're an American and you've failed, you're the problem. The wealthiest country on planet Earth. If you can't make it in America, you're a scumbag as far as I'm concerned, because it's a wealthy, very privileged, one of the most privileged, wealthiest countries on planet Earth. If you can't make it there, you're the problem. And all I see is African Americans complaining about shit that they never had to suffer through. Oh, this happened to, black people a long time ago and I just want freebies. What they're doing is they're a fascist, black supremacist group trying to overtake the United States from within. And they're winning. Just like the Mongol horde, they're cheating. They'll do anything to take over that country. Now, I think as Australians, you need to be aware that the United States is failing. They're collapsing. China's going to take over, 100%. They're not going to be able to destroy Russia either. The BRICS nations are taking over too. The BRICS nations are going to try to avoid war with the United States and the Japanese, after suffering for almost 100 years of this American imperialism, they might be able to drop the shackles, because they're the real slaves of the American empire at the moment, is the Japanese. They might be able to, get the chains off them, off the United States. And then the United States will have to actually work for once, instead of stealing money from the rest of us, these scumbags. But the United States is an evil empire, and now, in 2023, it's a black supremacist nation. So stop supporting this disgusting country. It's a disgusting country. It truly is. I'll see you guys in the next video.